Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another reaction video. Now, I was debating on not doing this one because it's an hour long. But you know what? I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna do it. It has been a long time since I have watched a video from another one of my favorite horror narrators, horror channels. I've been watching a lot of Lazy Masquerade. Some I reacted to, some I just been watching on my own. This one is from Be.Busta, who I used to watch all the time years ago. I mean, this is very nostalgic because I used to watch it all the time. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different because I'm filming it from my bed. So I'm on my bed and I got my TV right here. So you'll only be able to hear it. You're not going to be able to see it this time. Which, honestly, I mean, there ain't nothing much to see because it's just a Thunderstorm video, rain, ambience, and stories for an hour. So we're gonna watch this shit. So the video is called True Scary Horror Stories. In parentheses, scary stories, Thunderstorm video, rain, ambience. Now, I have never seen this one. He's got a lot of videos. And lately, he's been making videos that are 3 hours long. Like, each week. And I'm like, seriously? Fuck. That's too much. That's too much to tackle. And so anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Video link in the description for the video will be. The video will be in the description below.
And this happened to me when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And to this day, it's one of the most disturbing and confusing encounters that I've ever had. It was a very hot afternoon during summer vacation, and I decided to have a lemonade stand down the street from my house. My friend and I rode our bikes 2 blocks away and set up shop. A few hours passed, and she decided that she had to go home for dinner. It was starting to get a little dark out, and I was left to pack up the little table and the lemonade.
She had to go eat din.
And then a man walked up to me. He was about 30-something years old and had a really strange expression on his face.
Red flags would be going off in my head at this moment.
He walked up very close to me and,
if I was in that situation, the minute the creepy dude walked up to me, red flags, alarm bells would be going off in my head. And then I would probably look at this man and be like, hey, get the fuck away from me. And that'd be the end of it. Shit. Phone does not want to stay up. Yeah.
Never forget what he said.
That would be the end of it. Right then and there.
What would happen if you had no skin? I was taken aback and just responded.
What would happen if you had no skin?
I'm not sure. He said, what would happen if you had no heart? And then,
You wouldn't fucking be
what would
here.
happen if you had no toes? What would happen if you had no eyes? he kept getting closer and closer
Why
to
would you
me.
ask?
Still had something very, very off about his facial expression.
Why would you ask those questions?
I was naive and young, and although I didn't realize how creepy this really was,
What?
I felt really uncomfortable and started grabbing all of my stuff.
How in the fuck do you not realize how creepy that was? When I say this, I don't mean to be mean, but are you fucking stupid? I mean, seriously. A person asked me questions like that, I would tell them to fuck off. And I would immediately leave. There ain't no way in hell I'd be putting up with that shit.
Because I had so many things, I couldn't ride my bike home, and I had to wheel it next to me. When I started walking away towards my house, the man started following behind me, still not saying anything except for asking what would happen if I didn't have certain body parts. When I sped up, he did too. And then, eventually, he trailed off, and every time I looked back, he was just standing on the corner, looking at me. I never told my parents, and I never saw him again. I was more uncomfortable and confused than I was scared, if I'm being honest. But now looking back on it, I wonder, was he just mentally handicapped, a harmless man? Or was he some kind of dangerous, disturbed man?
Probably number
Still
2
not
on that
sure
one.
to this day.
Story number 2.
This happened when
A couple of these have got to be super long because I think I saw in the thumbnail that there's only 8 stories. But the video's an hour. There's probably one in here that's like extremely long.
I was at university about 10 years ago. I hadn't experienced anything like it before, and I haven't experienced anything like it since. I like to tell myself that it was an elaborate prank, given the circumstances. But I don't know who did it, or why. I lived on the north side of town, and the university library was in the south. The streets are numbered north to south, first, second, third, etc. But a train track with a small woody area cuts through between 13th and 14th Street, and only a few roads actually cross it or go under it. I was studying late at the library until maybe 2 a.m.
That's where you fucked up. You were studying late at the library. Never do that. Because you don't know who the hell might come in there. A random stranger comes in there, comes over to you, strikes up a conversation. Fucking weirdos! Do you know how many creepy people are on the planet? I don't. Probably millions. And I bet you that the library at night is like a battleground for all those creepy motherfuckers. And they're all coming up there to get your ass. More than likely.
I was walking home on Friday the 13th. To get to my apartment.
And it was Friday the 13th. That's even worse.
Then jig down 13th to get to a road that passes under the railway.
Oh wait, was that the name of the street? Oh. I know it's the name of the street.
To 13th, the street light above me goes out. Now, this happens a lot, so I don't think much of it. Until the next street light goes out while I'm under it too. And then next, and the next. As I reach about the middle of the block, all of the streetlights in front of me just go out too. But the first one turns back on. Drawn by the light, I turn around and look. And standing directly under the light is a figure wearing a white hoodie and dark pants. It's looking down at the ground, so I can't see any face. And it was definitely not moving. Behind me, the streetlight on the other end of the block, it turns on and I turn around to glance at the light. And it's standing there, about 500 yards from the first streetlight. White hoodie, dark pants, looking down.
I'd be out.
I double take back to the first light and nobody's there. Now I'm pretty freaked out, and the figure in front of me slowly looks up. The hood, it looks empty. I try to sound manly and say, hello? But I'm a little squeaky. The figure turns and walks across the street into the woody area by the tracks. I can see the white of the hoodie for a little while, and then it's gone. All of the streetlights on the block, about 10, turn back on all at once too. I ran home that night.
Fuck. Honestly, though, that wasn't that creepy. If you enjoy the if you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to see it continuing to reach more people, then please consider sharing this video with your friends, family, and all over the internet. In places like Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, I can't pronounce that one, etc. Also, if you would like the chance to have your story featured on this channel, please send your story to my email at, and there's his Gmail. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I don't really have a freaky story, but if I did, I'd send it to Be.Busta.
As a background, I grew up in the suburbs of Sacramento, California, in an area that was very middle class and a place where it always felt safe. As a kid, I would walk home from school with the neighbors, and we would play hide and seek and basketball in the streets, etc. And we never had any strange encounters. I am currently a 30-year-old male, and it's weird to think about this story. Anyways, during the weekends when I was a teenager, I would ride my bike for hours at a time and ride around a 10-block radius from where my house was. In Sacramento, we typically had good weather in spring, and a lot of the days were mild temperatures with a decent amount of clear skies and sunlight. I'm actually a pretty introverted individual, and also pretty naive to things around me. I vividly remember one time when I was 13 years old and riding my bike in the neighborhood. I had a speedometer on my bike, and I always traveled around 12 to 16 miles per hour in the right-hand side bike lane of the street. While I was cruising...
I didn't even know you could put a speedometer on your bike. How the hell do you travel that fast on a bike? I'm sure it's possible, but I don't think I've ever traveled on my bike that fast. I haven't had a bike in years. We actually do have one, but I never use it because I think it's fucked up. I think there might be a flat tire on it. Also, my bike, because I live in Indianapolis, people around here love to steal bikes. I guess it's just like the fucking neighborhood trend around here. I'm surprised the bike that's out there is actually still out there, because I'm not lying when I tell you that we have probably had 3 bikes stolen in the past 5 years. And one time I got the bike back. I got a bike back. And the other 2 times, I didn't. I didn't bother with calling the police because they won't do anything about a stolen bike. I don't know why, but they won't. Bunch of fucking assholes, that's what I think.
My bike. A windowless white van pulled up next to me on my left.
I don't think all cops are like that, but when it comes to, like, small things, like a fucking bike, they won't do shit. They won't. Not sponsored by Mavericks.
I remember glancing over and thinking nothing of this, since it is a neighborhood street and it would be weird if a van blazed by me at 35 miles per hour. Within a few...
I wonder if I could blow smoke rings. I don't know. Let's try it. It's not working. I can't, obviously.
Seconds of the van matching my speed. The right side door slid open. There were 2 guys.
And I already know what all of you people are gonna say. I smoke a lot in my videos. I've been smoking a lot lately, and I need to cut down. I will eventually quit. It's on my list of things to do. But it has been an extremely stressful few weeks. But I know it's not a very good excuse. I need to quit smoking. And I'm gonna try. Just not right now. I post a video on Facebook, or pictures, where I have cigarettes in my hand, or I got a cigarette in my mouth, and people are always commenting, stop smoking. And I'm like, I will. Just not right now. Anyway.
Guys in the back and one guy driving. I look over and the van got uncomfortably close to me, and one of the guys said quite loudly, "Get in the van." I didn't reply, but started pedaling faster and reached around 80 miles per hour, which I know.
I'll be damned if fucking van's gonna pull up next to me, person that I don't know, and just be like, "Hey, get in the van." You know, if I was in that situation, I'd be running the other fucking way.
Wasn't very fast compared to a van, but it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. But the van accelerated to match my speed, and I looked over at them. But the van was weird on the inside. I remember seeing no seats in the back. The 2 guys were obviously not seatbelted in. And I remember seeing the metal flooring of the van and some rope. The guy beckoned in more of an insisting tone to get...
For some reason, as he's telling this story, something popped in my head. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but if you guys have never seen this movie, go look it up. It is one of the worst movies ever made. It was like a shitty little low budget horror movie that was just so hilariously awful. And it was about an ice cream man who dies and comes back. And I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. The premise of the movie is that he goes around selling ice cream to kids. And if they eat the ice cream, their dads dissolve and melt away. I think the movie was called Ice Cream, You Scream, We All Scream for Ice Cream. As a matter of fact, here in a minute, I'm going to look it up. The reason why that reminded me of that is because the main character, who is a dad and has 2 kids, later in the movie, he remembers that he actually he was playing a prank on this ice cream man years and years ago when he was a little kid, and he got out of the truck and got ran over and died. And so that's why the ice cream man is back to get revenge or whatever the fuck. Anyway, yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, it's pretty fucking awful. But it does make for, like, a pretty hilariously bad movie.
Inside the van, he reached out since I was within arm's distance. At this time, we were travelling straight, but literally, just as he reached out, the road that we were on intersected with another street that I instinctively turned a hard right onto. They were forced to keep going straight, otherwise they would have flipped the van to follow me. I knew the area well and started weaving in between the residential streets that consisted of lots of curved roads that looped and resembled a maze. In hindsight, it was scary to be in that area because they could have easily found me, as I couldn't have seen them coming up on me because of the curved roads and all. But
how far were you from home?
They didn't make another pass.
Thank God.
Nowadays, I look back and wonder what they had intended to do.
Probably take you home and rape your butthole.
Were the ropes just for belaying and rock climbing or something? Or did they...
If I keep saying crazy shit like that, my whole channel is just going to be taken down from all the crazy shit I've said. That's what happened to Blasphemous HD. One of his channels, Blasphemous HD TV, the first one, got deleted because he was cussing too much, which is stupid because now they have it that you can make your videos not for kids, and I always do. So I think you can get away with it now. I hope so. Right now, where I'm at on YouTube, I have no monetization on my channel whatsoever because they've changed it. You have to get 1,000 views and 1,000 subscribers or something like that to get full monetization and be partnered with YouTube. That's not how it used to be. I've had YouTube channels before for years, and I was at one point I was partnered with Freedom. I ended up deleting that channel. Another time I was just partnered with regular YouTube, and it was fucking difficult, I'll be completely honest, because it is so easy to get a copyright claim. And once you get a copyright claim, you gotta take care of it immediately or you're fucked. And I found out that a lot of people are putting this whole Copyright Act thing in the description below their videos, and they're putting it in the videos, and that sometimes helps when you're doing a reaction to not get copyrighted. But yeah, I just thought I would say that. It won't work for music videos, even though I see people on YouTube reacting to music videos. It doesn't seem to work. I don't know how they get away with it.
Actually have a malicious intent? Did they ever do anything to anyone else who could get away? And these questions still linger with me, and I went home and never told anyone about it. To this day,
What?
only 2 people know
You
about
kept
this.
that to yourself at 13?
And obviously, now all of you guys.
Story number 4.
So, my friend Molly's grandparents just died, and they left their house to her. Now, the house has been in their family for 3 generations, so we've known that it was haunted for quite some time. It was built in the late 1930s.
My mom's house has been in the family not 3 generations, but my grandparents owned that house, and we moved in there about 6 years ago. So I would say 2 generations, possibly 3 because of my brother, if you count that. I don't know how that works. Anyway.
But has been owned by their family since the 70s.
Shit. I'm gonna have to chop this video in parts because I talk so much. I already got like 26 minutes on the camera, and there's only 10 minutes into this fucking video. So I might cut this into parts.
Parents, weird stuff has happened since they first moved in. Now, about the weird stuff. We've each experienced the exact same things, but at different times, as it usually only happens when you're by yourself in the house. Anytime you walk up the hallway, alone that is, you'll feel and hear what I can only describe as someone sprinting up behind you and jumping on your back.
I don't want to hear that.
It's quite disturbing, as you can hear the footsteps, heavy breathing, and everything else that would normally come with someone running up behind you. It happens in the blink of an eye, and by the time that you turn around, there's nothing there. Just silence and you questioning your own sanity. It happened to me the first time that I stayed there. I had absolutely no knowledge about the house's history at this point. I went to the backyard where everyone else was, and the first thing she said to me was, and by the way, I probably should warn you that this house is haunted. I said, you know, it's funny you should say that, because I swear that someone just ran up behind me. And before I could finish the sentence, everyone else in unison said, in the hallway. Also, at night, for the entire night, you can hear someone pacing up and down this same hallway. I mean, it seriously goes on for the entire night. But if you look or walk into the hallway, it will pause just long enough for you to go back to whatever you were doing. And then it will start back up again. There is one room in the house, and yes, right by the hallway, that if you sleep there, it'll wake you up in the morning by knocking on the door. The knock is always exactly the same. Soft, 3 knocks with an equal and semi-long pause between each one. If you don't respond, you'll get the same knock every couple of minutes until you finally do respond. The first time it happened to me, Molly and I were both asleep. I was the only one who woke up to the knock, and at first, I thought it was a dad. But the knock was so strange, and it wouldn't be like a dad not to yell some funny thing through the door to wake us up. After the 3rd or 4th eerie knock, I looked out the window to see that all the cars were gone, and we were the only ones home there. At this point, I freaked out and woke Molly up. She was obviously aggravated and got up to open the door and show me that nothing was there. As soon as she stood up, though, the door opened up about halfway, completely by itself. And
Fuck.
the weird thing is, it's not a normal hinge door. The house has those sliding doors that aren't particularly easy to open. They certainly couldn't be opened by the wind or anything. And yet, it happens all the time. All the doors throughout the whole house. Things will go missing or
I'll
fall
use
off of
this in a minute.
shelves. Molly said that
Mr. Fall.
she's heard people talking before and once woke up to someone screaming her name in the hallway. There's also a mirror that's always cracked. And her grandparents said that they had to replace it many times. And each time they did, they would wake up the next day with the same result. Cracked all the way down the middle again.
Move out!
The reason why I'm sharing all of this is that I'd like to ask you guys if you've ever had any experience with something like this before. Does anyone have any ideas to...
Actually, he did make me think of something when he said that. That house down there, the one I used to live in, my mom's house. If you were downstairs, sometimes, even when no one was home upstairs, you could kind of hear somebody like running around upstairs. But it was probably just the house creaking. That being said, though, it was still very creepy.
This could be, or if there's anything to make it stop. Any advice would be really appreciated.
Okay, I'm actually going to stop here and finish recording this later. So this is going to be part 1 of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I will probably finish this video, finish recording this here in a little bit. But I want to take a break right now because I'm already up to 32 minutes, and I don't want this video to drag on for too long. So I'm going to break this up into parts. Alright, I'll be back.